finally finished my air dryer, so that's done after about 60 trips to the hardware store to get different pieces. It's finally done. I'm going to clean up the firewall, and I'm going to pull the wheel well off the driver's side because the passenger side's already done, and we'll get a fresh coat of paint on that stuff. I should seriously paint the whole car because the whole thing is diarrhea brown. Who chose that one? Was that a factory color? Yeah, I'd like the diarrhea finish, please. Okay. I really wish I had a spool gun. That's what happens when you can't weld aluminum. You do that. And the plot thickens. So, one of these bolts that hold this wheel well on is spinning and spinning. So yeah, the piece that held it in place, which is this metal bracket, is completely rusted, and it actually broke away from the core support. Hello, old friend. Well, that's one way to do it. Oh, doesn't that just look wonderful? There it is. Question of the day. Will a wheel well fit in a Harbor Freight blasting cabinet? The answer is hell no. So I've done some ridiculous things in my day, but this one might take the cake. So this wheel well was obviously not going to fit in the blasting cabinet, but I'm blasting it right now in the blasting cabinet, and actually it's not that dirty. There isn't dust flying all over the shop, so hey, it works. And I'm getting it done. I'm sure you're wondering about the hissing that you're hearing in the background. That is not any of my joints that I soldered. That's actually the gauge on the rapid air regulator. I guess tomorrow I'll find out how good of a customer service Rapid Air has, because I'm going to call them and see if they'll send me a new gauge. I bought this thing about 7 months ago, so it's not like I can even take it back to the store now. So I'm kind of stuck with it. So this is the side that I end up putting in the blasting cabinet. And it was pretty rotten. But ultimately it's going to be sprayed in rust encapsulator, and then I'm going to coat it with undercoating. Here's the side that wouldn't fit in the blasting cabinet. Doesn't look bad, but there's a lot of rust where the wheel well actually meets the fender. It's pretty bad. I mean, that was ground down. It's been a couple days and it's already starting to show itself. So yeah, there's a little bit of rust repair I'm going to do on here. I don't know how high up I'm going to go, but at least get that taken care of. I mean, it is a wheel well. Nobody's going to see this ever. Here's the view from the other side. So it's not that bad, but I'll probably replace a good chunk of that. And then if you look up here, there's a couple holes there starting to form, so I'll probably whack that piece and put in a new one. So I'm going to start on the metal work on this one and get that knocked out, and then we can throw some paint on it. So this is the wheel well for the Camaro, and these two are off of my buddy's 81 Malibu. So I'm coming to the conclusion that at some point this lower fender got hit, because these holes, these 3 holes here, you can see them, those 3 holes do not line up with that wheel well at all. And then if you look at the wheel well, you can tell that it's sunk in this way. So I ultimately, I mean, either way I'm going to cut this piece out. So maybe I'll cut this piece out and get this formed exactly where it needs to be, get it all lined up, and then I'll weld this piece back in and put that spot weld there. So it's never simple. It's not, oh, let's just strip the rust off of it and repaint it. No, there's always something you run into. So that's what I got to run into today. Not a big deal. We'll get it taken care of. So before it was nowhere near those holes. It's getting closer though. So all I wanted to do was repaint a wheel well, and now I'm doing a bunch of metal work due to rust and also some kind of accident. And then I start looking at some of these other panels down here, and this is pretty fantastic here. So the bottom section of my fender basically was held on by one bolt. Well, I won't lie. This was also attached, kind of, not really. I mean, look at all the rust right there. And then, what do I do about this? Because I wasn't planning on doing anything with that. So the piece broke off behind here. This little plate, I don't know if you can see that little plate behind there. So maybe I'll put a J-clip on there. As far as all this goes, I don't even want to mess with it. This is not the time to be doing this type of stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Maybe I'll just throw some rust encapsulator on it and call it a day. Here we are, making some slow progress, but at least it's actually lining up now. So that's half the battle. Alright, there's my little 16 gauge L-shaped bracket to hold the two pieces together. So I guess I'll take it all apart and start working on that lip that I cut away before. Alright, so this patch is made. As far as this junk goes, I got it into the shape that I kind of want it before I cut it out. So I'm going to fit this thing one more time. Make sure everything lines up before I cut that section out. I would say this is a good time to call it. Looking pretty good. I just had to paint this wheel well, didn't I? So I'm going to do an unboxing, I guess. So I talked to Rapid Air a couple days ago, and they sent me out a new gauge. So we're going to unbox that. You guys are going to love this one. So here's the box. And a Basset Hound. What do you got to say, huh? Anything? No? Back to the box. Yes, this is fun trying to do this one-handed. You would think that I would go and get the tripod. No. I'm going to make this difficult for myself. Wow. Really? This might be overkill. I'm just saying. This tiny little gauge came in this gigantic box. Yeah, I don't know. It's just funny to me. So it's all mocked up. I'm going to take some rust encapsulator and slap it all in that area. And once that's done, get this thing welded up. And maybe paint this thing at some point in the next decade. Alright, encapsulator's on. Guess I'm going to grind down some of this and throw some weld-through primer on there on 3 little tiny spots. Alright, I think I'm finally ready to weld this thing up. Good to go on that one. I'm going to start working on this piece now. Now we're getting closer and closer to getting some paint on this thing. Man, that rust is bad. Finally done. I can't even tell you how many times I've put this wheel well on and took it off. Alright, everything's welded up over here. Fitting right. Everything lines up. Alright, next step, paint. So here's the wheel well, painted. This has got a coating of rust encapsulator on it right now. Came out pretty decent. So yeah, the repair areas, where are they? I can't even hardly tell. Here's one of them, and here's the main one. Here's the main repair area. If we shoot on over this way, you can tell where it cuts in. Kind of, not really. So if you guys want more videos like this, click the subscribe button right there, and there might be some kind of video to watch up here, or even down here.